Hello, everyone. I'm Neena Gopal. Welcome to Global Express. This is where we look at events in our neighborhood that have a direct impact on India. Pakistan has tested multiple long range ballistic missiles in mid December, which saw the US impose sanctions on all the entities involved in procuring equipment that could launch and test such missiles. It has openly come out in support of Mohammed Yunus's takeover of Bangladesh after the ouster of India ally and Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina Wajed. The terror attacks on India's Jammu and Kashmir have returned in full measure. And internally, Pakistan's polity remains deeply divided on how to tackle the hugely popular cricketing icon turned politician Imran Khan, who is a running battle with Pakistan's military. Former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, who initiated the first outreach to India and has made a similar pitch for peace with India only a few weeks ago, may be the last lone voice calling for an armistice, so to speak. What will India's Pakistan ties be like in 2025? Talking to us today are Avinash Mohanane. He served in Islamabad and in Kashmir as a senior officer with the Research and Analysis Wing. Welcome, Mr. Mohanane.
Thank you. Thank you, Neena. Thank you, Neena, for having me on the show.
Also with us is noted journalist and Pakistani commentator and writer Reza Rumi. He was the editor of the Friday Times. He hosts a very good, well-informed talk show and is associated with a number of think tanks and universities in the United States. He's now director Park Center for Independent Media, Ithaca College, or Ithaca College, sorry. Welcome, Mr. Reza Rumi. Let's start with you, Mr. Avinash Mohanane. On the internal schisms within the Pakistan's polity, you must have watched it long and hard over the last couple of, over the last decades. Where does the Shahbaz Sharif government stand in terms of its popularity as compared to Imran Khan, who remains in jail, but seems to be able to orchestrate, protests and marches on the streets of the capital and in Lahore at the snap of his fingers? The most recent being the march in Islamabad by his Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf party faithful, who were apparently shot at, with nobody giving us a clear figure on how many people actually were dead or injured. The march was led by his wife, his third wife, Bushra Bibi, and his trusted aide, Mr. Gandapur. The US and the UK have now raised also questions on the harsh sentences meted out to, uh, the Imran Khan supporters who were detained for the May 9th uprising by military courts, for which Imran Khan and the man seen as his closest advisor, former Inter-Services Intelligence Chief Lieutenant General Faiz Hamid, are also facing jail terms. There was a message on Twitter too, just days ago, that Imran Khan and the army were talking. Do take us through the political fallout of the recent developments in Pakistan, the parliamentary polls, which were widely seen as rigged, the growing unpopularity of the army, and what will happen to Imran Khan?
Uh, First, let us go to the February 8 elections in Pakistan. February 8 elections were massively rigged by the army. And if we come to the most popular leader, as you rightly pointed out, Nawaz Sharif, who was friendly with India, Nawaz Sharif lost both the seats while the counting was on. Then the system went shut down. And morning, he got elected from one seat and he lost one seat. So this was also true of Khwaja Asif and many other PMLN leaders who were losing to non-entities, literally non-entities, they were losing. So
And were
that
these people associated with the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, or did they put themselves up as independent candidates?
they had to contest as independent because election commission did not recognize Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf symbol bat that they have been using. So this was not given to the party. So everybody had to take his own symbol or her own symbol, and that is why there was a complete chaos kind of situation in the initial period. But look, soon, immediately, even after this nominations were filed, people knew who are the people who are contesting on behalf of Imran Khan. So it might have cost a few thousand votes, a few lakh votes to Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, but that doesn't mean that the People were not knowing who are on which side. So PTI, even today, remains the most popular party. Now, one example of the same is that when 26th November protest took place, led by what you said, Bushra Bibi, his spiritual guru, wife and spiritual guru. So nobody is going to come out to die because everybody knew that there will be firing.
Oh.
Still people came. There will be firing. There could be violence by the security forces, and there could be detentions. So why people are still coming out? It's not that easy to face the police. Maybe there are some people who avoided it. There were some people. The
So are you
problem,
saying that it was not as many as the the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf expected? The PTI
yeah,
were disappointed?
they were expecting much more, but the gathering was less. It's all because of the high-handed way the police was supposed to react to the.
Yeah.
So that is why the people avoided it. But hold elections today, and P- Imran Khan is the winner.
You mean
There is
as
no
in
doubt.
he
There is no
continues to
doubt
be
about.
that popular?
So now we come to the Shahbaz Sharif government. Now, a government that has been formed with the help of army and with a rigged election lacks legitimacy on the ground. And whatever may be the some improvement in the economy, that doesn't people don't accept that, because by and large the condition of the people remain very grim. The economy remains in a bad shape. The internal security situation is failing. uh, Religious extremism is growing. So there are so many issues associated on the ground, which people blame it on the army or army supported puppet government of Shahbaz Sharif. So Shahbaz lacks that legitimacy uh, in running the government. So that is his biggest problem. So
But how does
internally,
what does Imran Khan have that makes him stand apart from Shehbaz Sharif? I mean, what kind
his
of legitimacy does he have? Because even his election, I mean, he was brought in and propped up and put up
absolutely,
as the
absolutely, no
face
doubt.
against Nawaz Sharif, who at that time was extremely popular. Because when Nawaz Sharif even spoke from
Yes.
London, when his image was, images were basically shown in London, there was huge support from the masses.
Yes, true. I agree. Totally agree. It was an army project, Project Imran Khan. Army brought him into focus. Army gave him all the facilities. Army organized people to join his party. Army projected his image as a savior of Pakistan. So they created this monster. And the 3.5 years that he ruled Pakistan before being thrown out of power by the no confidence motion in 2022, his performance was below par, and
In the
he was
sense,
very unpopular. He was becoming unpopular, Imran
uh,
Khan. Imran
yeah,
Khan was becoming unpopular because if you see the protest that time, the Maryam Nawaz was leading. There was Pakistan Democratic Movement was formed, which largely contained of Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz, Pakistan People's Party, and
and
Jamiatul
Maulana Fazl Rahman.
Islam. Yeah, yeah. So they were attracting huge gatherings. So he was not a popular man, but he turned the tables on the government or against army after he was removed from them. The two things that he said, that army listened to the Americans. He waved
Hmm.
a letter.
Yes,
It
yes,
was a CCB cable
correct.
sent from the Pakistan's ambassador in Saudi in
In
USA.
Washington, yes.
Yeah, Washington. He sent a cable of what transpired between him and the Deputy Secretary of State, Donald Lu.
That's true. But
And
2024 showed us that rigged elections or, fates for the army, Pakistan's ordinary man in the street has become much more vocal. and much more. It never was in the past. I mean, we didn't see street protests. In the sense that they would actually push out government, right? I mean, in the sense these were all managed by the army. When Imran Khan came, and even before that, when they brought in Nawaz Sharif in the early days to nudge Benazir out and Zulfikar Ali Bhutto to begin with. So street protests are something which we don't associate with Pakistan.
The most glaring has been, if you recall, the way army used Jamaat-e-Islami when our Prime Minister Vajpayee visited Lahore.
Yes,
The
I was there.
evening,
I
yeah,
remember that.
you were there. Okay, I was also there. So
Yeah,
in that, you see the whole area near Minar-e-Pakistan, the
correct.
pitched battles were fought between the Jamaat-e-Islami supporters and the police. And even when we were being hosted for the banquet at Lahore Fort, we could still smell the tear gas.
And the it was boycotted by the army chief, Musharraf. He didn't. He
Yeah.
didn't.
So this is, and now where is Jamaat-e-Islami? Jamaat-e-Islami didn't win a single seat. The Jamaat-e-Islami's chief lost his seat. So they are not popular, but these Islamist groups have been used by army in the past, as you rightly said, to
Mm,
bring people on road, create chaos, and then move in to
yeah.
control the quality of the state.
So do you think people have seen through the game now?
Yeah. So
And
right now you see that the people have seen through the army games, how the army is control, they want to control everything in Pakistan, the narrative, the politics, the
business.
economy, everything they want to control it, and that is being resented by people. Now the problem, as we see, the problem is of the ground level, that the people are very unhappy with the army because of the economic situation. The economic situation is in dire strait. Even the ADB says that the inflation in 2024 was about 23.45% or whatever it is. But
Oh,
this 2025, as we have entered 2025, the inflation is likely to be 15%. Any double digit inflation breaks the back of people, masses at large level. So people are struggling for the normal wheat flour, struggling for the power bills, struggling for all essential issues, all essential commodities. Now, in this kind of a situation, whom they are going to blame? Earlier, it was they were blaming Imran Khan, and now it is Shahbaz Sharif and the backer of the Shahbaz Sharif. That obviously is army.
so that
So
that is why. Does Imran Khan, you think, have a plan, a strategy? Because does he believe that staying in jail gives him the sympathy of the common man? I mean, who, of course, as you say, turned against the army in a big way. And does he does is there any talk now? I mean, there's a lot of talk on Twitter now of the PTI and the army talking about a plan. The army supposedly has asked Imran Khan's party, like Fawad Chaudhry, for instance, to give them a document and list out their demands. Do you think this is Imran Khan could actually agree to some kind of a deal? Wouldn't that sort of
as
make him
of,
look as if he's done doing business with the army then?
look, if we come back to the old argument that the resentment is against the army, if Imran Khan compromises with the army, then his popularity wanes and wanes very fast. So it is unlikely that he will do it. If he does it for his own comfort, and he can't face the harshness of the jail.
Well,
So
he's
that
been
is
in
the
jail since end of
more
May,
than
right?
500 days. More than 500 days he has been in jail. And
Mm.
let us come to the talks between Imran Khan's party leaders and the government. we should be clear. If I am Shehbaz, suppose I am Shehbaz Sharif, I would never like Imran Khan to get cozy with the army. Because if he goes cozy with the army or his party goes cozy with the army, then my job is over.
Hmm.
He will be there in the power. So they would say that, look, the law will take its own course. The courts are hearing. We can't interfere. Even yesterday, they sentenced 40 more supporters of PTI in the May 9 violence
That's right. That's right.
in the military courts. So military
That's
courts
right.
are going.
Military
Military
courts are the
courts.
ones that are handing out these sentences, which is why the US and the UK have come out very openly and condemned these very harsh sentences.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's not going to end there because Imran Khan staying in jail may suit his own purpose, but how long is he going to stay in jail? And plus, now there is an added complication that is Lieutenant General Faiz Hamid's testimony, which
True,
is
true.
apparently going to looks as if it could put Imran in the box. I mean, or on the spot, basically conspiring to against the army, which is going to invite quite a much harsher sentence than what he faces now.
Look, this Asim Munir, the army chief, has been very clever. Before aggravating the situation with Imran Khan or sentencing his supporters, he the most important thing that he did was uh, uh, he uh, he
Let him sit there. Let him sit there. Yeah,
most important thing that he did is he got his tenure fixed for 5 years. So he's not going away for
he's
till
not going anywhere.
anywhere. He is not going anywhere. 2027, he is there as army chief.
Yeah.
So,
So
so the issue is that army now the army chief is going strong. He has no challenge to his legitimacy or staying in the power as army chief. He till 2027 November, he is not going anywhere. So now he can deal with this issue as he wants, and he has a compliant government to face the crisis.
yeah,
The crisis will
what
be
what
faced
what
by.
exactly do you think he's going to do?
No, right now would say that the
Hi, Reza.
yeah,
Hi.
yeah,
2 minutes. 2 minutes. Yeah, I'll come to you in a minute. Yeah.
yeah. Right now
So, what
he's
would the
going to.
army's, what would the General Asim Muni's plans be on tackling someone, such a tour de force as in Imran Khan?
Look, the army is not going to hand over power to him in any case. Imran Khan wants to become prime minister again, plain and simple. Let the people die, let people protest, let everything go to hell. But he wants to be prime minister again. But the army is not going to let it go like this. So the army's stand, which is still is valid, is that he has to apologize for the May 9 incidents, or the party has to apologize for the May 9 incidents, and say that will not be doing it again. So till that apology comes, it's unlikely that Asim Munir is going to leave Imran Khan. And if he does that, then the support that he is getting across Pakistan is going to slide, and slide badly.
Mr. Rumi, would you like to come in and talk about the fate of Pakistan's polity, which looks very divided at the moment between, on one side you have Imran Khan, on the other side you have the army-backed Shehbaz Sharif government. Where is it going to be headed in 2025?
Thank you so much, Nina. I think there is intense polarization and conflict at the moment, and you've already hinted in your question as well. So I think the year ends with some effort at political dialogue, which has been initiated as of last week between Imran Khan's party and the current government, ostensibly backed. The process is being backed by the military establishment as well. But it is not going to go very far in the initial rounds because of the maximalist positions put up by Imran Khan. He wants the February elections, which he calls manipulated and rigged, to be completely undone and a fresh election. Of course, his release is a major, the first condition, and then the
That's
release of
very interesting. He wants fresh elections.
yes. And now, obviously, while some of the demands like release of certain political prisoners, setting up a judicial commission for an attempt, which the government calls an attempt at mutiny last May, on May 9th to
Mm.
2023, that could be done, but a fresh election is not coming that soon. So I guess there will be several rounds of consultation, but I think there's a section within the military establishment that does want to proceed with the dialogue and cool down the temperatures, largely because it is impacting the economy of the country. And with this continued uncertainty, clashes on the streets, multiple long marches and sit-ins by Imran Khan's party, they have stirred political turmoil in the country. So,
What happens?
therefore, I would
What happens to General Faiz Hamid's testimony? Because there's a lot of talk about how Lieutenant General Faiz Hamid's testimony could actually pin down Imran Khan's complicity in this mutiny, so to speak.
yes, so there are two cards that Pakistan's establishment has. One is Imran Khan's a case in which he's accused of conflict of interest and seeking favors from a tycoon. A tycoon was punished by the British government for money laundering, about 190 million pounds, and that
Ah,
money came was sent back to Pakistan. But instead of it going into the state coffers, it was sent into an account that was, servicing the fines imposed on that business tycoon. So Imran Khan, under his government, it was done, and in favor, Imran Khan and his wife got a big piece of land to build a university, and
that's right.
they are the trustees and they have signatures on that. So that's one case which was meant to, and the second one, of course, is General Faiz. Now, General Faiz ostensibly was picked up on the charges of corruption for some old 5 6 year old case, but in reality he is being tried for causing a stir within the institution and allegedly trying to create a mutiny against General Asim Munir. And if Faiz testifies or says something against Imran, then obviously Imran could be tried in a military court, now theoretically. Now, whether that would happen or not, I think that's why, with these two swords hanging, dangling, Imran is being asked to come on the dialogue table and retreat from his maximalist positions. And of course, Imran Khan reportedly thus far is unfazed. But then, who knows who wants to be in jail for so long, or
Absolutely.
the party in tatters. So I guess that's what the current state of play is. If Imran Khan does not budge, then certainly, he will be tried. He could be tried in a military court, but there will definitely be a verdict in that corruption case against him.
That's very interesting. In recent weeks, also the Pakistan army, I think, has looked as if it's really being stretched because it's not just the domestic issues that are now, challenging its writ. It's also on the border with Afghanistan, where, as of just days ago, they've gone in and they've bombed, the Paktika province in Afghanistan, where they say that Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan has has all its bases and has a free run that the Taliban government, which was its former protege, is giving the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan a free run across the border. Mr. Mohanani, would you like to comment on that? Do you think that Pakistan army feels that that it's time to break ties with the Taliban? And this, I mean, they even bumped off. They allegedly accused of bumping off Khalilur Rahman Haqqani, and the Sirajuddin Haqqani group, and the Haqqani group were extremely close to Pakistan. In fact, they say it was created by the Pakistan ISI.
That's true, but we are not sure who bumped Jalaluddin Haqqani's brother, because ISKP claimed the responsibility for the same.
And there's a
We
lot
can,
of speculation that it could be the Kandahar lobby led by the Amir,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
could be the internal things
Hibatullah Akhundzada.
But Pakistan's retaliation of what happened in North Waziristan on December 20th or 21st, in which Pakistan army lost about 16 soldiers.
Yes.
So it was immediately to bomb the places where they suspected were the hideouts of Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan. Uh, Afghanistan says that most of the killings are of women and children, not the TTP fighters. But the reality is that Afghanistan government is interim government is in patronizing generally their TTP, because TTP had fought with the Taliban for against the Americans for long. So it's very difficult for them to kind of move them away from. They are moving them away from the border, but uh,
Pakistan army also accuses the Taliban of giving refuge to Balochi
yes,
insurgents who weave in and out of the Baloch Afghan border, and have also struck at army outposts. Isn't that right, Mr. Mohanani?
yeah, that's right. Pakistan army also does that same thing. But the problem is that if you bomb certain places, Taliban may issue strong statements, but they don't have a capacity to fight with the Pakistan army.
I see.
Conventional war or border war or border skirmishes, they are all will be at loss. The Taliban will be at loss. So they are not going to retaliate in a way that escalates the matter further. So I don't think that that is going to happen right now. It's an immediate reaction of the North Waziristan incident, and this is one way that the army can justify to the people of Pakistan that look, those who are responsible for the attack were have been killed by us. Uh, this is good for the optics, but the reality is that these things don't solve. And this is not the first attack that Pakistan Army or Air Force carried out across.
That's right.
There have
This is the
been
second
also,
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
earlier also the such attack. One was in Khost in March this year. Did it change the situation? Did the Afghan Taliban stop supporting TTP? It was not happening. So how it's a very tricky issue for Pakistan. It's not good that they are losing soldiers like this. So it will be difficult for them how they are going to negotiate their relationship with the Afghan Taliban. That becomes very crucial. You can't have a high-handed hammering the other side and expect them to listen to you. This is not going to work. In
But
my
is,
understanding,
is
Rada
that one
may.
of the reasons, Mr. Rumi, that the Pakistan army has actually set up, started these negotiations with Imran Khan, because it can't have a domestic challenge as well as a challenge on its borders.
I think that is certainly one of the reasons why the process of dialogue is being backed by certain elements within the military establishment, because Pakistan's army, as we speak, is stretched from all sides. On the Western Front, as you've just talked about Afghanistan and the problem with the Pakistani branch of Taliban or the TTP and the emerging threats there, there has been a daily attack almost every day. There is an incursion from Afghanistan side by the TTP or its various groups, because it's an umbrella organization. And then you have the Baloch insurgents in the south that have also been targeting not just the military installations, military personnel, but also civilians. And then you have a growing discontent within Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, which is in part political because Imran Khan's party has a sweeping majority there and they're extremely angry. But there is also a fatigue with this ongoing terrorism and ongoing violence and the presence of paramilitary forces all over. And then, of course, you have the Chinese, which are
Yes.
extremely unhappy with Pakistan's establishment. They have made it very public now. Earlier, we would whisper and collect info, but now their statements are out in the open, and they say our personnel are not safe. We are investing in Pakistan, and Pakistan cannot guard our investments and our engineers and our workers, etc. And then, of course, we have the ongoing tension. Of course, we love to blame India for all
Mhm.
these issues and all these problems. But that aside, things with India are not looking up either. Even though parts of Pakistan's establishment and the government want some sort of normalization to be worked out, but Mr. Modi's government is not really interested in in going ahead with any kind of dialogue. So it's a country now. And Iran in the recent past was not also happy. Pakistan and Iran attacked each other.
Traded, yes, missiles, yes.
So with all these challenges on the borders and internal insurgencies, etc., the last thing that the military wants is political turmoil. But
Mhm.
because it is now so deep in the political waters, I mean, it has always been a political army, but in the last decade or so, it has done it in a most brazen fashion. I mean, in terms of selecting and finding prime ministers and, backing one government and, removing the other one. And now, I mean, I think the people are fed up, the political parties are fed up, and their own performance in terms of, delivering defense services is severely impacted. So that is why, I mean, I foresee some resolution by next spring or middle of next year would come about.
In
Mr. Imran Khan
2025,
was a
yes.
creature of the military. He is no Che Guevara or Gandhi,
Yes.
lest anyone makes a mistake in the media. I mean, he's a product of the same colonial
Of the establishment.
yeah establishment. So ultimately, he will return to the mothership, but of course, it would come on some terms and on some happy notes. Yes.
That's very interesting. Mr. Monani, if I could just come back to you on India's reach out to the Taliban itself. I mean, our Joint Secretary JP Singh met Mullah Yaqub, the son of the former Taliban Amir Mullah Omar, in Kabul recently. It's resulted in the Taliban embassy and the consulate in Delhi and Mumbai opening. And India's embassy in Kabul is also functioning, but not at full strength. So there's a very active lobby in Delhi which wants better ties with the Taliban to ensure that Afghan territory is not used to host anti-India terror elements. But uh, this is also will not go down well with Pakistan at all. Any kind of fraternization between the Taliban and Delhi. I mean, an Afghan employee of the Indian consulate in Kandahar was attacked a few days ago. So,
2 days
do
ago.
you agree that this is going to be this is another problematic area for Pakistan?
Yes, yes, it will be because in the past, Pakistan has blamed all problems on India, the TTP violence, etc., because they said there are so many consulates operating in Afghanistan, and through those consulates, the India is supporting Baloch separatists and TTP. This was the common narrative. This is the common narrative. This was the common narrative given. But
That's right.
after August 2021, when Taliban took over, so thereafter there has been nothing. There's India is not there, but still the attacks are taking place. As you rightly said in the opening statement, that not even one TTP person has been handed over to Pakistan. Not even one Baloch separatist has been handed over to Pakistan. Uh, as far as India's engagement with the interim government in Afghanistan, the Taliban government in Afghanistan, look, it is not India only. There are many countries. They are gradually cozying up to this government.
Yeah, but it's
Uh,
something which I'm sure
they,
does not go down well with
yes,
Rawalpindi.
yes, yes. It may not go down well with the Rawalpindi, but there are issues like Afghans have to travel to India. They have divided families here. They travel for medical treatment. They travel for
That's right.
many
And
education, many things.
education.
So consulate services are required for the Afghan people and those who are here, their family members who are here. So this was bound to come. It was a matter of time only that this was bound to come. And the government, the interim government in Afghanistan is stable. It is controlling the whole territory. So this is the real de facto government. It may not
Mhm.
have recognition. But the interesting thing that I will tell you is that in the December meeting of the UN Security Council group on the sanctions against Taliban, China and Russia both supported continued sanctions against the interim government in
Mm.
Afghanistan.
That's interesting. That's
So,
interesting.
you just mentioned the Chinese, Raza just mentioned the Chinese are raising this issue of security. So, though they also don't want to let this off the hook, this government off the hook. Even the Russians, because the Tajiks who carried out attack in Moscow theater, they might have been not to Afghanistan, but the ISKP's presence here is a serious concern for Russia also. Obviously, China is afraid of that.
But I also want to go back, Ms. Rumi, if we can, to China. The India and, of course, Washington today are extremely worried about the high-level military engagements that are taking place between India and China, between Pakistan and China in the weeks preceding this missile test that happened, the long-range ballistic missile test that has got everybody in a, in a flap. I mean, the top Chinese military official, General Zhang Yuoxia, he's the vice chairman of the Central Military Commission, which is the overall command of the military headed by Xi Jinping. He met with the Pakistan Army Chief, General Asim Munir, during this recent visit. What can we expect, from these missile tests? And it's not just the missile tests, okay? Because now the Washington has sanctioned these companies including Islamabad's, the based flagship aerospace and defense agency, the National Development Complex. So they're actually blaming Pakistan for acquiring equipment that could launch missiles.
Yeah, so I guess that's been a real shocker, though not entirely unexpected, because this is the third or the fourth time sanctions have been imposed on suppliers and vendors that work on Pakistan's long-range
This
ballistic
is the
missile
this is the
program.
Shaheen 4 series, right?
That's right. And of course, there's a big the commentariat, a large section of commentariat within Pakistan is saying that it's to please India, that India has somehow influenced the United States to impose these
Oh.
sanctions. Yes. So, there have been newspaper articles and there's been a lot of commentary. That's one view in Pakistan. The other view, of course, talks about that the United States and particularly the incoming Trump administration has a very clear view on nuclear proliferation. So they
Mhm.
could be, and the US has had that concern always raised. Even Biden, I think a year ago, made that statement in one of the off-the-cuff remarks. So I guess that is something that Pakistan will have to grapple with. It's not going to have a big impact on Pakistan's missile development program, to be honest, because, similar sanctions were placed on its nuclear program. But guess what? We built a nuclear bomb. And the same is the case here. However, that is something that Pakistan will have to work. And I believe that there's some quite diplomacy already in action has been initiated between Islamabad and Washington. And finally, of course, there's this concern about China because the US, while it's no longer treating Pakistan as the frontline ally and India
Yeah.
as the new strategic partner in the region, it does not want Pakistan to go away into China's lap altogether. So there is that concern there definitely, and that has been the one of the major areas of negotiations and parleys between the two countries. So Pakistan has a pretty tough. Challenge here because Chinese strategic and military partner. I mean, China is the only big country which is now supplying arms to Pakistan, and Chinese relationship with Pakistan is really, really strong and old
In
now.
fact, the Pakistan military only recently acquired 40 stealth fighters from China.
That's right. That's right. And also other, there's a lot of other partnerships that take place. However, having said that, I just want to say that, there is going to be a tough time in the coming year in 2025 because Trump's China policy is pretty tough.
Hmm.
And,
Yes,
so Pakistan will have to negotiate that tightrope walking pretty, uh, you
which
know,
India has done beautifully with the US and Russia.
there you go.
Lessons learned.
There you go. There you go.
So, what if I can come back to you, Mr. Mohanani, on India holding talks with China? I mean, we have a huge, the whole People's Liberation Army sitting on our long border with China, and we have, let me just ask you one more question, Mr. Rumi, before you go. What is this link up that has happened between Pakistan and Bangladesh? Shehbaz Sharif has been effusive in his congratulations to, Mohammed Yunus, the Nobel laureate who's taken over Bangladesh. He's suggested that they should restart SARC. These are all, and plus there are allegations being made from within the Awami League in Bangladesh that it is Pakistan which has actually initiated this entire coup against Hasina.
Yeah, so thank you, and I'm so sorry, Nina, for rushing you. But see, I think that with Yunus's administration and Hasina's exit, an opportunity definitely has come up for Pakistan. Pakistan has been wanting to fix these ties with Bangladesh, but Hasina Wajid's position on Pakistan for well-known reasons was pretty hardline. I mean, it was not just the India. I mean, her family has a whole history with
Yes.
Pakistan, let's put it like that. So I guess it was not making any headway. But her departure has opened up this possibility, and that Pakistan is leaping, and partly it is also capitalizing on some of the, little snippets of critical, sentiments towards India that one is picking up from Bangladesh. Some of their advisors, popular writers, opinion columnists, they're saying these things. So Pakistan obviously thinks it's the right time to go and make a a deal with the new government. If you remember, Pakistan's establishment and had very good relationship with Khalida Zia, and so whenever there's a ruling coalition or forces that are opposed to Hasina Wajid, Pakistan gets an entry into Bangladesh. And this is exactly what's happening. But I think it's also Mohammed Yunus. Now, you see, I know he's criticized very much in India. I read a lot of newspaper articles, but Yunus is a different category of professionals. He's a world banker, as you guys know. And, he is wedded to the idea. And he's also trying to undo some of the Hasina Wajid legacy. So I guess he's also eager to push forward to that because he wants to show that there's a change. And one of that signs of change would be that Pakistan is back into Bangladesh's
I just want to
economic.
say, sitting on the sidelines in a country which has been riddled by army coups is a man called General Waqaruzzaman, who's supposed to be very close to Sheikh Hasina. So we don't know what could happen in Bangladesh
We
and
don't
when.
know. We
Yes,
don't know.
but thank you very much, Mr. Rumi, for joining us. If I could come
Thank
back to you, Mr. Monane, the whole question of Pakistan's ties with China, they do look ominous because I mean Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and India don't seem to have any common meeting ground. There's no question, as in the past when General Bajwa was there and they raised and Imran Khan scotched it of a free trade agreement of opening up the trade corridors. or any of that. So, are we misreading China in the sense that, by opening up these border talks with China, what we cool our border, but do we also cool tensions on the border? But do we also open ourselves up to being, manipulated by China? So in so many ways.
Yes, that is the crucial question because the talks on China, we have been very opaque in exactly what has happened there. The government is not very clearly told that whether China vacated those areas which they occupied in April 2020. There has been talk, the statement says that China has gone back to the 2020 position, but 2020 position before April is different and after April is different. So the clarity is lacking. But even if we have kept that issue aside and tried to de-escalate the situation, disengagement is always welcome. De-escalation is always welcome. But this will not go down well in Washington
Hmm.
because Washington would not like India to cool with the Chinese. So,
Hmm.
that would be a problem that we may face with the Washington because we are part of the Quad, and that Quad is largely directed against China only. So, what
Yeah,
the
right.
new government would take stand after Trump takes over, we have to see. Now, as
Hmm.
far as China's this concerns on the economic corridor, because initially the Pakistan blamed it on India, that India is creating problem so that CPEC falls. CPEC doesn't work. Now, for last 2 years or more than 2 years, the CPSC did not really make progress because the attacks continued on the Chinese interests. It's very difficult for us to assure that we are not part of the game that the TTP is playing or the Baloch separatists is playing to thwart Chinese investment, to thwart Chinese ambitious plans in
What about
Pakistan.
Bangladesh, Mr. Monani? This is extremely worrying that we could have the rise of an Afghanistan on our eastern border. It's something that a lot of people are talking about within the Awami League, saying that this is the rise of the Hezbollah Tahrir and the Jamaat-e-Islami, which all have their roots in Pakistan and West Asia. So, I mean, the commentary that is sees Shahbaz Sharif reaching out to Mohammed Yunus
So,
doesn't end there. There were for the very first time in years, Pakistan container ships are docking in Chittagong port, and there is a lot of speculation that these are carrying arms and ammunition and heroin and other contraband.
first thing is that for long we supported a regime in Bangladesh which rigged every election.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
he rigged every election. So we didn't support democracy. We didn't support a fair election. What we supported was an autocrat who can help us in our issues in related to Bangladesh, and
Yeah,
a
basically
sort of
stopping
a,
infiltration from the
yeah, yeah,
Chinese and so on.
true, true.
Yes,
Infiltration, then earlier we used to have a lot of terror movement through Bangladesh, helpful
correct.
in the counter-terrorism front. It's okay, but the problem is that we didn't support the people of Bangladesh. We supported a regime. Now the regime is gone. So how we expect that the people will be supporting us or people will be in our favor? Look, this is the same thing that happened with Pakistan. There
Hmm.
was an anti-Pakistan sentiment in 1971 because Pakistan tried to grab the power from Bangladesh, from
From
the
East
erstwhile
Bengal,
Pakistanis to themselves. So
East
now
Pakistan, sorry.
it will
Yeah,
take time. But problem is that the editorials or the write-ups or the Hindu violence, yeah, these all are going to create problems between the two countries.
so,
It
what do
is
you see as the biggest threat to India internally and externally from Pakistan?
Yes, I feel that the biggest threat would be the infiltration of terrorists from there, Pakistan, and it is this happening in Jammu and Kashmir, and the weapons that they are using. If you see the Akhnur encounter that took place, we had to take out literally tanks to fight those terrorists because these people are equipped with M4 rifles, which Americans left in Afghanistan, and which obviously the ISI would have access to. There were thousands and thousands of weapons that the Americans left in Afghanistan. So the obvious thing is that they would have access to those, and those they are giving. I've seen the recoveries of the weapons. If you see a group of three people coming, then one is carrying M4 rifle. At least one carries that, and two others would generally carry the normal Kalashnikovs. Now, these M4 rifles can be fitted with the night vision devices, binoculars, so you can hit a target effectively from 400 or 500 meters. So that it has a powerful range. Then it uses steel bullets which can pierce armor. So it becomes difficult for the army, paramilitary, or police to go near them because of the weapons that have supplied. They are supplying. Now, this issue we can only tackle if we talk to Pakistan.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to. Because even 2 years ago,
We have to
there was
talk
a
to
ray of
Pakistan.
hope that once
Yeah,
Imran Khan was gone and Mr. Nawaz Sharif would come in, come back to Pakistan, India and Pakistan could throw open their borders to greater people-to-people connectivity, religious tourism, even cricket. But
yeah,
now Pakistan seems to be marching to a completely different drummer. I mean, there's
yeah,
a nuclear, they're upping their nuclear ante, they're upping their long-range missiles, they're buying, aircraft from, fighter
China.
aircraft from China. So there seems to be the militarization of Pakistan seems to be on the up and up, and there
Yeah,
doesn't seem to be any chance of, any kind of rapprochement with India.
no, no, right now it doesn't appear to be. But good thing is that the ceasefire on the line of control and the international border is holding. The
I
ceasefire
see.
that we entered in February 2021, it's now more close to 4 years. It is holding. That is one big thing that is happening. So this border is not as active as the Pakistan-Afghanistan border. So
That's very interesting.
yeah, so it's a quiet border right now, and the
Yeah,
people
and
on
also politically, then you don't see a coup coming. You don't see a people's uprising, a Taliban surge across the border into KPK in Balochistan.
no,
And,
no, no, no.
and even Pakistan occupied Kashmir does seem to have, issues.
Yeah, there are issues across Pakistan, and the largely the base of those all issues is economic.
Mm.
So it is in Pakistan occupied Kashmir, what they call as Azad Kashmir or Gilgit Baltistan. There are issues there. There are issues in rest of Pakistan also. But the problem that right now Pakistan army is facing on the internal security front is that TTP wants to create a small corridor where they can have their base.
I see. That's very
This is
interesting.
so yeah. So they are concentrating their attacks in south of
Waziristan.
Khyber Pakhtunkhwa,
Hmm.
south of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, whether it is Dera Ismail Khan, North Waziristan, South Waziristan. That is why the most attacks are taking place. If these areas, the Pakistan army is not able to maintain their posts, the police ditches the place, police leaves the place, then it becomes a kind of anarchical area where the TTP can have easy movement and easy access.
That's
Because
very
in
interesting.
yeah, so this is what that is why they are targeting these few locations repeatedly, repeatedly. It is happening. They are
Oh.
demoralizing police. They are telling police to stay away from the duties, otherwise you will be killed because they say that. And the most interesting aspect, excuse me, the most interesting aspect of the this renewed TTP attack is that they are not targeting civilians.
They're not targeting?
Civilians.
Oh, yes, it's only army outposts. You're absolutely right.
Army, police. paramilitary or rangers or those. They are not targeting civilians because they are going back to the Taliban mode of violence, where they were targeting the Americans or the government machinery,
Mhm.
the Afghan National Army. So, if the violence is not against people, that is why the Pakhtun PTM, Tahfuz movement,
Pakistan
Pakhtun,
Tahaffuz movement.
Tahfuz movement, they say that we neither want military nor we want terrorists, TTP. So the last Pakhtun Jirga that was held under the aegis of Pakhtun Tafuz movement in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. The Manzoor Pashtun set a deadline that within 60 days we want military to clear of these areas, and we also want the TTP to leave the place because we don't want any kind of violence.
Which is why he was arrested.
We have suffered a lot. He gave
Yeah.
figures of 76,000 people dying, about 2 million, 3 million still homeless, and how many injured, and how many killed, how many tribal elders, more than 1,300 tribal elders have been killed in this war on terror, or so called. So they want their Khyber Pakhtunkhwa to be quiet, to be
Mm.
peaceful. So this is
In
not.
fact, I think that is the biggest challenge that Pakistan will face in 2025, for
Yes.
sure. And India needs to keep its ears to the ground and keep its communication lines open, with all the main players in Pakistan. We can't ignore that reality that is building up on our border also. Thank you very much, Mr. Mohanane. And
Thank you. Thank you, Nina.
thank you, Mr. Rumi, for coming on the show. Viewers, please click on the New Indian Express website and on Global Express and click and share.